Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news after a devastating loss to Man City last night. Yesterday afternoon. We've got lots to talk about. Ten Hag's frustration. Is it a warning to people like David De Gea, Jadon Sancho, maybe Eriksen, maybe a few others? Who is Erik Ten Hag looking at to bring in the summer? And why is my microphone not... There we go. And also, we're going to look at what's happening with the Glazers, a bit of an interesting update from Simon Stone as well, and a few other bits in relation to what the targets are going to be and potential budget restrictions, which of course will be there. Lots to get into. I suppose as a community, I would say, how are you feeling this morning? I was quite fortunate last night that I did have to do that TalkSport show, which I was dreading, and actually it was mainly Man United fans calling up, so it was quite therapeutic. Look, I liked what Ten Hag did after the game yesterday. He made the players watch Manchester City lift the trophy. And that's a very clever psychological thing to do for mentality. You hope that the players look at that and are motivated by that. I think, unfortunately, not everybody's the same. Some people like pineapple on their pizza, some people don't. There'll be United players who watch Man City lift the trophy and they'll be thinking, where am I going on holiday tomorrow? There'll be United players who watch it and go, that's going to motivate me all next season. The problem isn't making them watch Man City lift the trophy and hope that they don't let it happen next year. We've seen some of these players watch Villarreal lift the Europa League and they're still watching people lift trophies. So the mentality is an issue in that team. You can lead a horse to water, but some of them won't drink it. He's got to change players in that team. And I suppose the question is, who's he got to change? Interesting piece in the Telegraph this morning, saying that whilst De Gea is an area that Ten Hag wants to improve on, the priority is a striker and a number 8. That's got a few people worried, saying that the budget's not very much then, because the budget must be 150 million, because it's 50 for Mount and it's 100 for a striker. I don't actually agree with that, but I do think that you need to prioritise your budget. I want to talk about De Gea, I want to talk about Sancho, but effectively, if you replace De Gea, you're going to need a budget of over 300 million, because a goalkeeper of Raya's quality, or more likely Costa's quality, is going to cost you. It's going to cost you 50, 60 million. Where's that coming from when you're spending over 100 million on strikers? You need 2 midfielders. I think we need a centre-back as well. So you've got to prioritise. You can't do everything in one summer. He couldn't do everything last summer, and he can't do everything this summer. I mean, look at the FA Cup final yesterday. I thought Ten Hag came out quite positively. In fact, let's have a look at some of Ten Hag's quotes, because there's a lot to get into this morning. I think he was a little bit over positive. He said that, there's only one team. This is his quote. What were your thoughts on this? Ten Hag said, I think we're the only team in the world capable of fighting back against this City team. I don't know what he's talking about. I love Eric. I love him, but I don't know what he's talking about. Fighting is the word that I think most of us felt was lacking yesterday. Apparently, we're the only team in the world that's capable of fighting back against that City team, and yet 3 or 4 players didn't fight at all. I feel bad about Marcus Rashford, by the way. I've seen these clips of him not jumping for the header. It looks terrible, and of course, people like Roy Keane and Beckham and everyone are going to look at that and go, "You've got to jump for that." But maybe he doesn't jump for those things because his back isn't right. I don't know. It looked odd. But, I mean, Rashford's had a good season. I don't really think he deserves the same criticism as some people. But we're not the only team in the world capable of fighting back. I think Inter Milan will put up more of a fight next Saturday night. I think Brighton would have put up more of a fight. I think the problem with this team is mentality. As we close the season and look forward, which we have to do, I look back on last season and I think, well, look, we've had a good season. We've overachieved, but we've also massively bottled a few games because of a lack of mentality. Very good season overall. Time to back the manager, says Rashid. And I don't think anybody doesn't back the manager. I mean, one thing is, I think we've been down this road so many times, and this guy on my shoulder here has the complete backing of the manager, of the fans. He inherited the worst Manchester United Premier League side we've ever known, and he played Man City in the FA Cup final last night with basically that team. People will say he brought 5 players in. Malacia's not a starter. Martinez was injured and Anthony was injured. So basically he had Casemiro and Eriksen, who wasn't very good. So basically he's added Casemiro to that team and he's playing in an FA Cup final. I think we would have all crapped ourselves if we'd known that a year ago. So he's done a very good job. He's obsessive, and I think he knows what needs to be done. But I think some of what he's come out with after the final is probably protecting people who probably shouldn't have been protected. He said on the possible takeover of the club, I don't want to discuss it. We have to analyse the season first, get to the bottom of it, draw the right conclusions, and then act. That's all. I love that. He has got to take a breath. He has got to look at the season overall, and we'll do that in a moment. And we had a fantastic season, he says, more than we could have imagined at the start. We finished third, we qualified for the Champions League, and we won a trophy, and we made another final. I'm very happy with my team. Exactly. I think you've got to remember that above everything else, that we did overachieve. There's no doubt about that. And but it doesn't make it any better when you lose a game like yesterday. But you have to move on. And ultimately, Man City are a better team than us. We should have done better yesterday. I thought that tactically it wasn't bad. It's just some players didn't turn up. Fabrizio Romano has come out again this morning saying that Harry Kane is the priority, and Mason Mount is obviously a player that we're speaking to Chelsea about in depth at the moment. We can talk about the incomings, and I still think that Harry Kane could be a possibility for United. I think there's a lot of people out there writing things off and writing things in, and as we know, the transfer market is going to be a roller coaster.